Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk to the broken, the tired, the frustrated, the people who have done everything they could and still feel like they're sinking in the quicksand of life. I want to talk to the dreamers who stopped dreaming and the fighters who laid down their gloves. I'm here to speak to the soul of the person who's asking, when is it going to be my time? If that's you, lean in, because this message is for you. Start doing this today, and you will never be poor again. Now listen, when I say poor, I'm not just talking about your bank account. I'm talking about your mindset, your spirit, your faith, your identity. You see, real poverty doesn't start in your wallet. It starts in your thinking. It starts in how you see yourself. If you believe you're stuck, if you believe you're cursed, if you believe success is for them, but not for you, you are already bankrupt. So what's the secret? What's the one thing you can start doing right now that will guarantee you will never be poor again? Here it is. Start investing in yourself daily. I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about time. I'm talking about energy. I'm talking about commitment. I'm talking about doing something every single day that moves you closer to the life you know deep down you were born to live. Let me break it down. Some of you have been working 9-to-5 jobs for years, giving everything to a company that would replace you in a week. But you haven't spent 30 minutes reading a book that could change your life. You haven't taken an online class to learn a new skill. You haven't written a single page of that book that's been living in your head for 10 years. You keep waiting for the perfect time. But let me tell you something. There is no perfect time. You don't need to have it all figured out to start. You don't need money to start. You need hunger. You need focus. You need to make a decision today that you will no longer settle for the crumbs of life. The people at the top, they bleed like you. They cry like you. They doubt themselves like you. The only difference? They made a decision that they were going to invest in themselves, no matter how slow, no matter how small, no matter how scared they were. They read the books. They went to the seminars. They asked for mentorship. They failed, yes, but they learned. They didn't have to be the smartest. They just had to be the most committed. You say you want success, but are you willing to do what success requires? That TV show you binge watch, does it feed your purpose or feed your poverty? That conversation you keep having about why things never work out for you, does it build your future or bury it? You don't get what you want. You get what you prepare for. And if you're not preparing, you're forfeiting your destiny. Starting today, I want you to do something different. Wake up and say, I am not poor. I am not broken. I am becoming. Pick up a book and read 10 pages a day. Learn a new word. Practice a new skill. Start that side hustle. Speak affirmations into your life, even if your voice shakes. Even if your bank account laughs at you. Even if the people around you say, who do you think you are? Tell them, I'm somebody who refuses to die with my potential still inside me. You don't need permission to grow. You don't need approval to evolve. You don't need applause to get started. You just need a decision. One decision that says, starting today, I will no longer be a prisoner of my past. I will no longer wear the chains of doubt and fear. I will no longer wake up and live someone else's dream while mine dies. This is your time. Not tomorrow, not next year, now. Because poverty is a mindset. And once you free your mind, your life will follow. When you change the way you look at yourself, you will change what you expect from life. And when you change what you expect, you change what you attract. And when you change what you attract, you will never be poor again. not in spirit, not in hope, not in opportunities, and eventually not in income. Let the world call you crazy. Let them say it's too late. Let them laugh. But while they're talking, you'll be building. While they're mocking, you'll be mastering. While they're resting, you'll be rising. Because starting today, you're investing in the only stock that never crashes, you. And when you do that, I promise you, you will never be poor again. Poverty ends where self-investment begins. This simple truth has the power to rewrite your entire story if you embrace it. Too many people wake up every morning waiting for something outside of them to change. A miracle, a breakthrough, a lucky break. They think the right job, the right connection, or the right timing will somehow erase years of struggle. But life doesn't reward the waiters. It rewards the workers. Not the ones who sit still and hope, but the ones who get up and plant seeds every single day. Self-investment is the most powerful seed you can plant, because when you pour into yourself, you expand your capacity to produce value in this world. Now, here's the part that most people miss. Self-investment is not a one-time action. It's a daily discipline. It's not just about spending money on a course or reading a motivational quote online. It's about making a conscious decision to grow, to evolve, and to refuse to stay the same. It's about waking up every day and saying, how can I become better today than I was yesterday? It's about understanding that the greatest wealth you will ever create begins in your habits, your thinking, and your belief system. If your mindset is broke, your bank account will follow. Now, here's the part that most people miss. Self-investment is not a one-time action. It's a daily discipline. There are people walking around with $1 million ideas trapped in a $5 mindset. And until they invest in reprogramming how they think, how they speak, and how they move, they will keep repeating the same cycle year after year. See, poverty isn't just about what's in your wallet. It's about what's in your mind. If you believe you're stuck, you are. If you believe you're too late, you are. But if you believe you are capable of more and you're willing to invest in the person you're becoming, the world opens up in ways you can't even imagine. Self-investment can look like waking up an hour earlier to learn something new. It can look like choosing to listen to an audiobook instead of scrolling social media. It can look like sitting down with a mentor or even just writing down your goals every morning until your vision becomes real in your mind. It's choosing discipline over distraction, growth over comfort, consistency over convenience. And here's the truth. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be intentional. Most people don't fail because they're not capable. They fail because they never invested enough in their own development to unlock their capability. They want success to show up while they're sleeping, but success only visits those who are wide awake, working on themselves. You don't rise in life because of what you were born with. You rise because of what you build within. And when you invest in yourself, people notice. Opportunities find their way to those who are prepared. You begin to speak differently, walk differently, think differently. People feel the difference when you walk in the room because there's a confidence that comes from growth, not arrogance, but a quiet, unshakable certainty that says, I've done the work. And that work, that's what separates those who stay in survival from those who step into success. You can't outsource your personal growth. You can't delegate your discipline. No one else can do your push-ups, read your books, or speak your affirmations. That's on you. And the moment you stop waiting for someone to come and save you, that's the moment you start saving yourself. Some people spend their entire lives avoiding discomfort, not realizing that discomfort is the gym where growth happens. Every time you challenge yourself to step out of what's easy and invest in what stretches you, you're expanding your future. You're breaking generational patterns. You're rewriting the narrative. You're saying, I will not pass down fear. I will not pass down limitation. I'm building something different. The good news is that self-investment compounds. It's like interest. The more you do it, the greater the return. One small change today creates a ripple effect you can't even see yet. One new skill, one new belief, one new habit. These are the bricks that build empires. You don't need to be wealthy to start. You just need to start. Because the moment you decide to take yourself seriously, life will too. You don't need permission to grow. That truth alone can shatter the chains holding so many people back. From the time we're young, we're conditioned to wait for approval, for validation, for someone to tap us on the shoulder and say, now you're ready. We wait for the teacher to call on us, the boss to promote us, the world to accept us. But growth doesn't ask for permission. Growth is not polite. It doesn't knock softly and wait to be invited in. Growth demands that you move, even if no one claps for you, especially if no one claps for you. Too many dreams have died in silence because someone was waiting for a green light that was never coming. They kept their ideas hidden, their potential buried, their fire dimmed, all because they were afraid of what people would think, afraid of judgment, afraid of criticism, afraid of standing out. But you were never born to blend in. You were never meant to live small just because others are uncomfortable with your life. The truth is, you don't need a round of applause to begin. You don't need a committee to sign off on your vision. You don't need credentials to grow into your purpose. What you need is a decision. The moment you realize that your growth is your responsibility, everything changes. You stop shrinking yourself to fit into places you've outgrown. You stop apologizing for wanting more, for believing bigger, for pursuing what others said was unrealistic. The people who tell you to be realistic are often the ones who gave up on their own dreams. But that doesn't have to be your story. You don't need their permission. You need your commitment. You see, growth happens the moment you give yourself full authority to evolve. It's when you decide that your current situation is not your final destination. It's when you stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. When you no longer need to be liked more than you need to be fulfilled. That's when things start to shift. That's when you tap into a different level of power. The power that comes from alignment, from authenticity, from self-belief. When you stop asking for permission, you begin to lead your own life instead of living someone else's version of it. That's the turning point. You no longer wait to be chosen. You choose yourself. You no longer wait to be discovered. You discover your own voice, your own talent, your own value. And once you discover it, you protect it, you nurture it, you develop it. And in doing so, you become someone who no longer needs to be told when to move because you're already in motion. There's something magnetic about people who walk in their truth without needing a crowd. They don't beg for validation. They don't chase applause. They know that growth is often lonely, often misunderstood, but always worth it. They understand that elevation requires separation from old habits, from limited thinking, and sometimes from familiar people who can't handle your transformation. Permission is a trap. It keeps people frozen. You wait for your spouse to believe in you, your friends to support you, your environment to shift. But what if no one ever believes until they see the result? What if the applause never comes until the finish line? Will you still run? Will you still show up? Will you still do the work when no one is watching? Growth doesn't come with instructions. It comes with intention. And once you set that intention, you become dangerous to anything that was designed to keep you average. You become a threat to mediocrity. You begin to outgrow conversations, environments, and expectations that no longer fit who you are becoming. You don't ask, can I? You ask, how far can I go if I stop waiting and start building? Everything you admire in others, their success, their confidence, their clarity, it didn't happen because someone gave them permission. It happened because they made a decision. They decided to get uncomfortable. They decided to push through fear. They decided to believe in their vision even when it was invisible to everyone else. Growth starts with that decision. A quiet, powerful decision to stop hesitating, to stop doubting, to stop waiting. Once you make it, the rest is just momentum. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a declaration. I don't need permission to be great. I don't need permission to become who I was born to be. I give myself full access to right. Your mindset is your greatest asset or your deepest debt. It's the invisible force that shapes everything you experience. It determines how you interpret your failures, how you respond to your pain, how you see opportunity, and how far you allow yourself to go. Most people believe their lives are controlled by circumstances, by their upbringing, by what's in their bank account or on their resume. But the truth is, none of those things control your future as much as the way you think. Your mindset is the lens through which you see the world. And that lens either expands your vision or narrows it until you can't see past your current struggle. A wealthy mind can exist in a poor environment and still find a way to rise. A poor mind can exist in a wealthy environment and still find a way to fall. That's how powerful your thinking is. If your mind is full of fear, doubt, excuses, and limitations, then it doesn't matter how many opportunities show up, you won't take them. You'll sabotage them. You'll talk yourself out of them because the story you believe in your head will always overpower the possibilities right in front of you. But when your mind is trained for growth, for resilience, for abundance, then even in the worst conditions, you'll find a way to adapt, to fight, to win. Every action you take starts with a thought. Every decision you make is filtered through your beliefs. If you believe you're not good enough, you will underperform. If you believe nothing ever works out for you, you will subconsciously make that belief true. If you believe that success is only for the lucky or the privileged, then you'll always feel like it's just out of reach. But if you believe you are capable, worthy, and prepared to outwork your limits, then no setback can stop you for long. You may fall, but you won't stay down because your mindset becomes your recovery system, your bounce back mechanism, your internal fuel. People spend years studying for degrees, chasing titles, trying to upgrade everything around them, their phone, their wardrobe, their car, but they never upgrade their thinking. They never question the inner script that says, I can't, I'm not ready, I always mess things up, or someone like me could never make it. And because they never challenge that script, they live in a prison with invisible walls. No one locked the door. They just never tried to open it. The debt of a poor mindset is that it keeps collecting interest year after year on dreams that never get lived. But your mindset can also become your greatest asset. It can become your power plant. When you shift the way you think, when you replace fear with focus, comparison with gratitude, excuses with action, you unlock something that no one can take away from you. You start seeing setbacks as setups. You see rejection as redirection. You understand that failure isn't fatal, it's feedback. And suddenly, your world changes, not because the world changes, but because you changed how you see it. You can't control everything in life. You can't control the economy. You can't control what other people say or do, but you can always control how you respond. And that response is shaped by your mindset. Will you see problems or possibilities? Will you see pressure or preparation? Will you shrink in the face of fear, or will you step into the unknown with faith that you're being built, not broken? The most dangerous person in the room is the one who has trained their mind, because they won't fold under stress. They won't give up after one no. They don't need approval to take action. They've built mental muscles that don't just survive the storm, they walk through it with purpose. That person knows how to reframe failure, how to find lessons in pain, how to stay grounded in chaos. They've learned how to lead themselves, and that makes them Your mindset is the foundation for every result in your life. If you don't believe you deserve better, you won't chase it. If you don't believe change is possible, you won't pursue it. But when you build a mindset rooted in growth, responsibility, and faith, you stop waiting for permission to win. You stop waiting for the stars to align. You start becoming the kind of person who creates their own momentum, no matter what the circumstances look like. Because the mindset is not about what happens to you, it's about how you interpret it, how you use it, and how you rise from it. Discipline today destroys regret tomorrow. Every dream, every goal, every breakthrough you could ever want is sitting on the other side of consistent effort. Not talent, not motivation, not luck, discipline. The world is full of talented people going nowhere fast because they never learned how to show up when they didn't feel like it. They wait for inspiration. They wait for the mood to be right. But discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline asks only one question: did you do the work? Every time you choose discipline, you are making a down payment on a future you haven't even seen yet. Most people don't fail because they lack ability. They fail because they lack follow-through. They let temporary emotions control long-term vision. They get excited about the goal, but never commit to the grind. But real success lives in the boring, unsexy moments, when no one is watching, when no one is clapping, when it would be easier to quit. It's in those moments that the great are separated from the average. Discipline is the quiet force behind every extraordinary life. It's what makes you get up early when your body wants to sleep. It's what keeps you going to the gym when the couch is calling your name. It's what pushes you to study, to practice, to improve, even when the results aren't showing yet. Because you know deep down that what you do today shapes who you become tomorrow. You are writing your future with every choice you make in the present. And the truth is, you can suffer the pain of discipline now or the pain of regret later. But either way, you will suffer. One path builds you, the other breaks you. There is a version of you that's stronger, wiser, more focused, more powerful. But that version doesn't show up automatically. That version only comes to life when you put in the reps, when you stay consistent with the things that matter, even when they're hard, especially when they're hard, because discipline isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. And the more you build it, the more you realize how many things you used to call impossible were just waiting on your commitment. Regret is a slow burn. It doesn't show up all at once. It creeps in over time, in the quiet moments, when you realize you settled, when you see someone else living a life you could have had, when you know deep down that the opportunities were there, but you didn't do what it took to seize them. That's a heavy weight to carry. but you don't have to carry it. You can trade it in for discipline. Discipline gives you freedom. It gives you options. It gives you peace, because when you know you've done the work, you can sleep at night. You can look yourself in the mirror without shame. You can face challenges with confidence because you know you've prepared. No one sees the hours you put in when you're tired. No one claps for the sacrifices you make, but that's not why you do it. You do it because you're building something that can't be taken from you. You're building habits, mindset, integrity, things that compound over time and pay dividends you can't even imagine yet. The rewards of discipline may not come today, but they are always on their way. They show up in the opportunities that find you, in the doors that open, in the strength you have when life hits hard. Discipline teaches you to respect time, to stop wasting hours, days, years on things that don't serve your purpose. It helps you filter out the noise and focus on what truly matters. It gives you clarity. It sharpens your decision making. It forces you to stop living reactively and start living intentionally. When you operate from discipline, you're no longer ruled by emotion. You're driven by purpose. And that purpose will carry you through the days when motivation disappears. Success doesn't belong to the smartest or the most gifted. It belongs to the most consistent. The ones who keep showing up. The ones who do what needs to be done, whether they feel like it or not. The ones who understand that every disciplined decision is a step away from regret and a step toward greatness. It's not glamorous. It's not easy, but it's worth it every single time.